Hey y'all, happy Sunday. Today is July 5th, and I just want to come and update you guys with some things that's been going on in life, with also a message that God has given me. So the title of this message is going to be The Great Return, and it just stems from, again, some things that God is doing in my life. So for starters, excuse the roughness. I got caught in the rain. I have not seen a brush or a comb since. It's fine, people. But for starters, I have a job. So I have a program manager position at the same company that I was working at before. So if you guys remember, I had a company that I worked with that in 2022, God told me to quit. And then in May of 2023, I got a job there as a project leader. And then in 2024, October 2024, I was impacted by a reduction in force. And at some point, either late last year or earlier this year, I posted a word and I said, I believe I'm going to be back at that company. I don't know why I believe it, but I believe it. And I am back at the company. So I'm excited about that. But the other reason for the title of The Great Return is I told you guys that I was traveling back to Atlanta. I don't know how much of that I told y'all. So just honestly speaking, for some time, I felt like God wanted me to go back to Atlanta. And I didn't mind it, other than the simple fact that I really felt like my purpose had not been served in Colorado. And so I didn't just want to leave without whatever my purpose was being completed and fulfilled. And so I really struggled with the idea of moving back. Honestly, to the point I struggled that I did not even want to come back to even visit, because I knew that there was a chance that that visit would turn into a long-term stay. And again, I would be left feeling like I did not complete my purpose in Colorado. And so so far in that journey, I told you guys that I was struggling with housing, and I honestly, in hindsight, I kind of feel like God dried that up. God would not allow me to stay in Colorado any longer than I had to. If he was telling me to come back to Georgia, he was not going to allow me to be approved for an apartment. He was not going to allow me to be approved for another place. He was not going to allow me to do anything other than what he wanted. And again, me being in Atlanta right now does not have to be a permanent thing. I could be going back to going back to Colorado in August, right? I could be going back, but the thing was, I had to get here. And for months, God has been telling me my next move is going to be located in Georgia. My next move was going to be located in Atlanta. So, and what he was saying is that I've given you 3 instructions. You've achieved these 3 things. So now, step 4, you're going to receive when you get into Atlanta. I'm thinking step 4 is not necessary. And if it is necessary, I could get it in Colorado. Like, why I got to be in Atlanta to get it? But that's not how God works. And as most people know, as you should know, the best thing for you to do when it comes to following God is just being willing to be obedient to his word, to his instructions, to whatever it is that he's telling you to do, because you'll delay a lot of your own blessings. You'll delay a lot of the plans God have for you by you being big-headed and feeling like you know more than God. So when you're big-headed and when you feel like your knowledge and your wisdom should override what God is trying to do in your life, what God is saying is the next step for you, you delay your promise. I have no clue what I've delayed by waiting so late to come back to Georgia. I don't know. I don't know what I delayed. I just know that whatever provision I needed was not going to be given to me while I was in Colorado. And honestly, like I told you guys, I had a check, a $2,000 check. My state taxes, it took a month to get to me. But I knew that delay was tied up in God. I knew that delay was God needed my surrender. God needed my submission. He needed me to go with what he said. Now, I received that money before I even got to Atlanta, But in that whole time, that money was supposed to be used for me to get an apartment in Colorado. I was supposed to use that money to get an apartment in Colorado. Because I did not have that money, I could not get an apartment. And that check did not come to me until I have fully surrendered to what God wanted me to do. Until I told him, okay, I'll go to Atlanta. When I started preparing to go to Atlanta, that's when the check came. A check that came from Denver, Colorado to a different area of Denver, Colorado took me 4 weeks to get. How? It's not like it was coming from Idaho. It's not like it was coming from Georgia. It's not like it was coming from Washington. It was coming from Denver, Colorado. And it still took a whole 4 weeks for it to come to me. That check did not come to me until I agreed to do what God said. The deposit that I paid on the apartment that I got rejected from, it was a $325 deposit. That did not come until I agreed to do what God wanted me to do. That money all came around the same time, but that money came, and I had received another additional deposit into my bank account for $391. Did not know where it came from, was not expecting it or anything, but all of that came when I agreed to do what God wanted me to do. And, you know, the thing about it is, my hesitation with coming back to Atlanta, remove the direction or remove the areas out of it. And I want you to look at it in this way. When we move forward, a lot of us don't be trying to move backwards. I moved from my hometown. Why would I go back to my hometown? I moved out of my parents' house. Why would I go stay back with my parents? I moved away from that husband. Why would I reconcile with him? Why would I move backwards? But in this season, for a lot of us, God is saying, moving backwards is going to be moving forward. If you don't move backwards to move forward, you're going to be standing still. You're going to stay right here. You're going to find yourself in the same position day after day, week after week, month after month, until you make the step to move backwards. Until you make the step to move backwards, you're going to stand still. And that's exactly what happened to me. That's exactly what happened to me. And so, again, I'm just now getting in Atlanta. I got here, today is Sunday. I got here Friday, I believe. Friday. So, I haven't seen anybody yet. I just saw my mom for the first time today. But I haven't seen, I've actually been like really, really sore. We moved stuff into storage and we cleaned that apartment from top to bottom, or that house from top to bottom. My body is broken. Okay, I am hurting right now. So I ain't trying to see nobody right now. But I'm just saying, we made it here. We made it here, the great return. And so God did give me some numbers. I'm not going to go and read those numbers right now because I just, I want to have that all together in front of me versus me having to end the video and then come back. But for this one right here, for this message, it's the great return. Sometimes moving backwards is moving forward. And honestly, when it comes to God giving provision, that provision can come before you even make your move. God is tracking your heart posture. God is tracking you. Like I've said before, I've said this in many videos, you can't lie to God about your intentions. You can lie to man, you can't lie to God. So you can do something, or you can't say in your head, okay, I'm going to do it like this, but I'm really going to do it like this. God knows everything that's in your heart, so you can't lie to him about what you're trying to do. So he knew when I finally decided to come back to Atlanta, he knew it was a struggle. He knew that I was fully in agreement with it, and he knew that I was ready to get that, whatever that next word was. But he knew more importantly that I was ready to follow him. I was ready to stop stalling the things in my life and go ahead and move forward with what God is doing. Because you have to understand, when you stop or when you delay God's plan, you're not just delaying you, you're delaying all the people who are supposed to be impacted by the move of God that he's going to do through you. I don't know what great things God is going to use me for, but I can only imagine the people whose lives I'm delaying progress in because I don't want to move to Atlanta. And let me just be honest, there's nothing wrong with Atlanta. It's not that I don't want to move back because it's a bad town, it's a bad city, the people are crazy. It's not that. The literal only reason why I didn't want to move back is because I feel like God gave me a plan when it came to me going to Colorado, and I feel like I didn't fulfill that plan. But, and this takes me back to that word where I talk about God completing his work. If just because I didn't fulfill what my purpose was or what I thought God's purpose was, doesn't mean I didn't fulfill God's purpose. I don't know what God's purpose is for me when he moved me to Colorado. Remember, revelation comes later. That's 1 Corinthians chapter 8, verses 8 through 13. Revelation comes later. But God could easily say, you've already accomplished the purpose. You did exactly. I just wanted you to move to see if you was going to move. I wanted you to move and put your son in a new school. Done. I wanted you to move and get out from around your family. Done. I don't know what God's purpose is, but God could very well say, daughter, you have fulfilled the purpose. I have fulfilled the purpose through you. Now it's time for us to move on to something else. It's me that was stuck on, I didn't fulfill the purpose. I didn't complete it. I didn't do anything. But if God has completed his purpose in me, then that revelation is going to come. So all I can do now is just do what God is wanting me to do and wait for that revelation. That's all I can do. All I can do is do what God has told me to do, which was move to Atlanta. I am in Atlanta. Or go to Atlanta. Not move, but go to Atlanta. I'm in Atlanta. Now all I can do is wait on God to reveal why I'm here. But I'm not going to rush him. I'm going to let him move as he needs to. And I'm going to ensure that I continue having the right heart space. Because like I've said before, if you are so stuck on things going your way, sometimes that attitude prevents God from giving you instruction because you don't have the heart to receive the instruction that he wants to give you. If you already walking around, oh yeah, I ain't doing this. I'm never going to do that again. I'm never talking to this person again. I'm not going to do that at all. If that's exactly what God wants you to do, you think he's going to rush to come and give you that instruction? No, he's going to wait till you are in a more humble position to receive the next set of instructions. God knows when our heart is not ready for it. And again, this goes back to that word that I said, position for elevation. Humility comes first. You have to be humble in order for you to receive the next set of instructions, in order for you to receive your next blessing, in order for you to receive the people that God is bringing back into your life. You have to be in a humble position. You can't be walking around with your tail on your shoulders, acting like this person owe you this and this person owe you that. And if they don't give you that, then that's just it. That's not how God works. And that's not how he wants you to work. So, yeah, if this is me putting y'all in my business, just letting y'all know what's going on. But also, to encourage those who God may be moving backwards. Don't delay your blessing because you feel like moving backwards is moving backwards. No, in some seasons, moving backwards is moving forward. And this may be that season for you. This is for you to take back to God and start your own conversation with him. But you need to be asking him when God returns you to that company that fired you, when God returns you to that husband that cheated on you, when God returns you to that mother or that dad that used to abuse you and they were a narcissist, when God returns you to that city that ran you out of it because you were the only person that stood for this one thing and you went against everybody else, and so they ran you up out of there. When God returns you to these places or these peoples or these opportunities, you need to be asking him, what is my purpose here? Because he don't return you to nothing unless it's meant. There's nothing. People use the words luck and coincidence and stuff and chance. There is no chance or coincidence or luck when it comes to God. God knows exactly what he is doing at all times. We don't know what he's doing, but again, revelation comes later. But God knows what he's doing. So this is your opportunity to ask God questions. And if he's not giving you answers, then so be it. He's not giving you the answers. Revelation comes later. Your job then is to make sure you're doing what he told you to do, whether you have the revelation on it or not. You just do what God has told you to do, and the revelation will come at a later date. That's the word for today. I love you guys, and I will see y'all on my next word.